Today I wanted to dive into the cannabis strains that have worked best for me throughout my medical cannabis journey. Over the past couple of years, I've been prescribed a variety of different flowers and cannabis products. I definitely have found a few favourites along the way that I'd love to share with you guys. But before we get into it, please don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and consider subscribing. It helps me a ton. Thank you. So the first strain that I want to talk about is Lavender Cake. Lavender Cake is actually the strain that I've been on the longest because it's worked so well for me personally. Collectively, I've probably been on Lavender Cake around 9 to 10 months. And it's the strain that I've had consistently the longest without any interruptions. Lavender Cake is an indica-dominant hybrid, and it's a cross between Super Skunk, Big Skunk Korea, and Afghani Hawaii, resulting in a strain known for its calming effects and unique flavour profile. It has around 20% THC content and 1% CBD, or less than 1% I should say technically. So in its flavour profile, does it taste or smell like lavender? Not really. However, it does have a very strong floral taste and smell, especially if you vape at a lot lower temperature. And I think this is where it gets that kind of lavender name from. It's definitely floral. And does it taste like cake? No. But cake strains are usually indica dominant, and they do have a rich, sweet, dense, satisfying flavour experience, I would say, so that's probably where the cake is kind of alluding to in that, but someone in the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong. The terpene profile is the following. So why do I like it so much? And again, this is just my personal experience. You may be someone who's tried lavender cake and despise it. We're all different, and that's okay. For me, the high is very relaxing. I find it very soothing without being overly potent. I'm able to vape it and still get things done. I'm not super couch locked, so I'm able to vape in the evenings and then still cook, clean, game, do whatever, just chill. And that's something that's really important to me because I vape usually just in the evenings, sometimes in the day over the weekend, but I still want to be able to get on with my day-to-day life. With all the cannabis strains I try, it almost indefinitely triggers the munchies, and this is something that's, again, important to me. I take ADHD medication, and it's a stimulant, and it suppresses appetite, so I don't eat a lot, and I need something in the evenings to essentially trigger that feeling of hunger, otherwise I can just go the whole day without eating anything, essentially. I really like the boost it gives me in my mood. It's not to the point of full-blown euphoria, but it does make me feel great, which is always nice. And one of the biggest things for me, I don't know if it's just how it interacts with my body, is that I still get the giggles. I've been on medical cannabis for quite some time now, and my tolerance has built up, and getting the giggles is something that I get less and less, unfortunately. But on Lavender Cake, I still get them, and it's really nice. Even last night, I was giggling at a reel that I saw on Instagram hysterically, to the point of crying with laughter. And that's something that I really cherish about cannabis in general. Because of those reasons, I've not actually got bored of it. I've tried other strains in the past, and they've been good, but I've always had that urge to try other and different strains. But with Lavender Cake, I've been very content for a long time now, it feels. So Lavender Cake, a big win. I really like this strain. I'll give it like a solid 89 out of 100. The next strain is Hindu Kush. Hindu Kush is actually a strain that I was encouraged to take when Lavender Cake became unavailable for a short time for me. Now, Hindu Kush is a pure indica dominant strain. It's also a landrace strain originating from, you guessed it, the Hindu Kush mountain range between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The THC content is around 15 to 20%. And it has less than 1% CBD content. So the flavour and taste profile is quite woody. It's almost kind of like sandalwood. It's kind of got a sweet, earthy, woody aroma to it, which again is really lovely. It has a little bit of spice as well. It's a little bit peppery, spicy, and it has terpenes that include. So the high I get from Hindu Kush is definitely a head and body high. I feel like my brain has been given a nice warm hug. My limbs feel heavy, but also very relaxed, which again is nice. And I have a really big sense of calm and peace. And why I like Hindu Kush so much is that it is the strain that I have slept the best with consistently. Again, my ADHD medication is a stimulant and I sometimes struggle with sleep, but when I was on Hindu Kush, I always slept well. I think it's because it's quite a strong body and head high, and it's obviously an indica dominant strain. I could easily vape it and then fall asleep, and I would have the best sleep ever. I also found the high to be kind of more euphoric, like I felt more euphoria on the cannabis strain when compared to something like Lavender Cake. However, it's not as high up on my list as Lavender Cake because I did find myself getting couch locked quite easily with it. Don't get me wrong, when you are couch locked on Hindu Kush, it's great, but when you have stuff to do, it's not the best. So compared to Lavender Cake, I would take it much later in the evening, closer to when I'm actually going to sleep. Again, it triggered the munchies, so we have a big win there. So all in all, I would give it maybe like an 80 out of 100. Maybe not as high as Lavender Cake because of the couch lock, but I think just because of the sleep that I got from it and how good it makes me feel, it's still very high up on my list. As you could probably tell, I'm quite a fan of the indica-dominant strains, and that's what works best for me. Again, you may not get on with both of these strains, and that's okay, we're different people. Take what's best for you. Now we're getting into a little bit of controversial territory. When I first started my medical cannabis journey, I did a lot of research. I would frequently read on forums like Reddit, where people say that when you first start medical cannabis, your clinician will be very pushy for oils. And at the time, I had never taken oil, I had never taken edibles, I'd only ever used flower, and that's what was familiar to me, so I was very against oil. And as expected, I had my assessment. They said, yes, you're viable for medical cannabis, and then we spoke about prescriptions, and they pushed for oil. And again, I was very dismissive. I was like, no, I don't think it's for me, but they were quite pushy and sold it to me. So the next thing I have on my list is Curaleaf's, I don't know what they're called in other clinics, but bear with me. It's a full spectrum oil, indica, and it has around 20 grams of THC and around 10 grams of CBD with a volume of around 10 milliliters. It should be bang on 10 milliliters, not around. I don't know why I said that. And why do I like it so much? And it's for one key reason. It's very discreet. For example, if I've got friends over and I want to medicate, I can just slip away, put a few drops under my tongue. And unlike vaping, which despite being semi-discreet is still very noticeable, it can cause a smell or make you smell. And whipping out your vape in front of a load of people, they'll know what's going on quite quickly. And there's been so many situations where this oil has come in clutch, essentially. And you can time it as well, which is fantastic because it's not instant. So if you want to pop to the shops, you can put a few drops under your tongue, pop to the shops, come back, and the time you're back, you'll start to feel it. I've also done it on the way back from an event. So again, just a couple of drops under the tongue on my travels back on the train. And then the time I get home, I can start to feel it. I've also found it to be pretty good at aiding with sleep. I do find a noticeable difference between times that I take the medical cannabis oil to the times that I don't, especially around sleeping. I always seem to sleep better, deeper, and for longer. So controversially, I'm actually going to rate this pretty high. I'm going to rate it around an 80. Again, this is my own experience on it. You may have tried it and it's not worked for you at all. But the final cannabis product that I would like to talk about, again, is another discreet one, and a one that I didn't think I would like as much as I did. And that's the Cannabis Fruit Pastilles. Now, I'm not sure if other clinics also do pastels, but at Curaleaf they do flavoured pastels. I had the 14 pastel pack, had a THC strength of 10 milligrams, a CBD strength of also 10 milligrams per pastel. The ones that I had were strawberry flavour. The reason why I like these so much again is because of their discreetness. For me, they are another level of discreet over the oil. Because let's be honest, sometimes getting your little pipette out and then dropping it under your tongue is a bit shady. There aren't many medications that you can drop under your tongue, but the benefit of the pastels are that you can break up a pastel into, say, 4, and then wrap a piece up in a little bit of cling film, pop it in your bag, and then you can take it essentially whenever. And this is again something that came in clutch several times when oil wasn't an option for me. I really liked how they tasted as well. Didn't have an overly strong cannabis flavour, and if stored correctly, they lasted a fairly long time. My only criticism with them is that they're very soft, meaning that it's quite difficult to cut them up. If you try and break them up by hand, they kind of just mush together. But as far as criticism goes, that's probably where it ends. I don't always order the pastels, but if I have an event or something coming up that I know that maybe I can't take my vape or oil, these pastels come in really handy. Again, it's a product that I didn't think that I would ever want to try, but there are many use cases that these pastels have actually come in clutch, so I really like them. I'm going to probably rate these around like 78 maybe, but these are the cannabis products that I've enjoyed taking over the last year. With all of this, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have tried, what's working well for you, what's your favourite strain, or are there any cannabis products that you've tried that you thought, nah, this is not for me, and it's actually worked really well. It helps other people too, because I was very anti-oil, but now I'm pro-oil. Cannabis oil, that is, nothing else. But as always, a huge thank you for watching, and a huge thank you to those who have subscribed or dropped comments, frequently like. I really do appreciate you, and thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.